So what I love about this hobby these days is the fact that it combines two of my favourite things, and that is flying and video. But one thing I've never done is combined the equipment together. Until today. So, I've always been a fan of film and the cinema, and I've always had a big massive screen and 1080p projector in my room, so it must have slipped my mind why I wouldn't use my FPV setup with it. But here we go, this is what I'm going to do. Now, you might be thinking, why is he messing around with video goggles and things like that if he's got this big screen? Well, you can't take a big screen everywhere with you. You could probably move a projector. I do have a projector actually that's portable, so you could perhaps, go outside and project it on a big wall and do some flying. It'd be a bit of a pain, but I do a lot of flying around the house anyway with my microcopters, so I thought I'd give it a go. So back there on the 120-inch screen we have my micro quad. It's currently lying on my bed. I've got the feed going through my projector, which is going through the computer. I would have plugged the video receiver direct into the projector, but projectors have a signal loss detector, so that's not really any good for when it goes sort of white screen, snow screen, when you start to lose the signal. So I've got it running through the computer at the moment. I'm going to show you what I did to get this set up like that. Now, it really is quite difficult for me to show the scale of this screen, but it is absolutely huge. It fills the room, and the FPV experience, it's like nothing else. It really is. In fact, because you've got all the lights off, it genuinely feels like you are moving with the aircraft. It's really strange, and this is definitely 100% the best FPV experience that I've ever had, honestly. With the Fat Sharks, any kind of monitor, this is just crazy, guys, okay? So what am I using projector wise? This is a BenQ short throw 1080p projector, and it's mainly used for films, and you've got lots of different inputs on the back. I'm using the VRX, which is here. My goodness, this lens is so wide, and then I've got it going into a WinTV dongle like that into the computer, and then the computer is connected on the second monitor up here into the projector, so I can turn on the computer here, and you'll see that we can still view the desktop as well as this, so that's kind of cool. So let's just go into the program, how I do it. I'm actually using VLC to get the full screen. Now, VLC player, as some of you who watch movies know, it's really good for changing light settings and the aspect ratio, so I've got this one just right, I think. So let's go and take a look at that. So I've got VLC Media Player open here, and I'm using this because you've got greater control over your full screen. Usually I use Virtual Dub and record at the same time. I think you can record this as well at the same time. I'm not going to go into that. So yeah, that's why I'm using VLC. So if we go into Media, we can go Open Capture Device, and then change this to my video capture card, which is the WinTV HVR 900. I'm going to leave the audio device as default because I'm not going to use the audio. You want to click Show More Options and change the caching to 0 milliseconds, and what that does is it means that there's no delay between the video that's being received from your video receiver and onto the screen there. It's how you get the lowest latency possible. So the next thing you want to do is click Advanced Options and go into Device Properties. That you do have properties here, but they don't do anything. What you have to do is press Device Properties, then when you press play, it's going to come up with some options here. Now it allows you to change the format, so mine's NTSC format anyway, so that it gets the screen size exactly right. You can change things like the brightness and contrast and other things like that I'm not going to mess with. So press OK there. I'm going to use all the default settings here. Press OK, and here you've got your video input, in case like this one has got 3 video inputs, so I want to choose composite, video out, leave the same, and press OK, and then we should have a result, hopefully. Now I've got my quadcopter plugged into this already, so that's why we're getting an image, but you would just get static if I unplugged it like that. That's another reason for going through the computer. There we go. So I got that plugged in. And now you can do anything you want. I can full screen it there. I can, if I want to stretch the aspect ratio slightly, I can do so. So if I want, say, a 16:9, or what I actually like to fly in on this is because this is an NTSC camera. If I go into video and aspect ratio and choose 16:10, that's quite a nice ratio for this camera. So there we go. That's how I'm doing it. Then I put this side onto the projector there and get in a lovely full screen. So let's go and do some flying. Okay, so this is me plugging the quad in. Maybe ignore this part, but then what I proceed to do is go downstairs, put the quad downstairs, get on the bed, pick up the Hubsan controller, and then proceed to fly. Now, this camera angle really isn't doing it justice. This is a really wide camera. This is the Xiaomi Yi camera. And so the screen looks much smaller than it is, but this consumes all of my room. This screen does. So you can see here I'm lying on the bed, and the immersion experience, it's really difficult to describe, but it's just incredible. If you ever been to Disney and been in one of those sort of simulators where it feels like the entire room is moving, that's what this feels like. It's definitely on a different level of immersion compared to any kind of goggles. So I just want to put that out there. Of course, it's not a cheap option by any means. This projector, I think, cost about £900. You can buy cheaper projectors though. It just so happens that this is a 1080p projector that I'm using, but you can get, say, a 1024 projector for about £200. And actually, a bit of a limitation of this projector is its native aspect ratio is 16:9. So you can see there we've got a couple of borders at the side. I do have an Acer projector which does have a 4:3 aspect ratio, which would then give you the full picture screen. However, like I say, the problem with that projector is it's got a lower pixel density and also a lower screen resolution, so I thought I'd go with the full 1080p projector here so that I can't pixel spot, and the picture clarity is just so clear, it's unreal. And I'm managing to fly around here no problem at all when it comes to latency. In fact, I even go for a landing on the table here. Now, the VRX is doing a really good job. There's hardly any breakup here. This is the Lawmate receiver, so I can't recommend those enough. And as I mentioned before, I've got the screen resolution of 16:10. That's because this camera that I'm using from FPV Hobby is an NTSC camera, so it is more suited to a slightly wider angle than the 4:3 ratio. So I think I've got it perfect here. And it really is just an incredible experience. I do this a lot flying around the house, and this is definitely the best that I've had it. So, yeah, I'm not sure if it's, an economical option, but it certainly is a great experience. And if you want to know how to do it, then, this is the video for you. Now, here, the camera gets over the maximum file size, and it kind of splits there. Right? I've lost a little bit of footage, so I'm not sure what happened there. This is the Xiaomi Yi camera that's recording this, so a little bit disappointed in that. It kind of took a segment and then a little 15 megabyte segment in the middle, and then it skipped a whole load of video, so not sure what happened there. But the size of the screen, as I mentioned, is 120 inches, and it really is like just being there, like you were wandering around with your eyes. But there you go, that's the full video, and that's me flying around like an idiot with my with my projector and screen. So thanks a lot for watching, and please continue to subscribe. Cheers.